Go, Meredith. Nick, are you ready to go? Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Meredith, would you call the roll, please?
Good afternoon. Randy Ruby.
Here.
Robert Hahn. Here. Todd Horn.
Here.
Jason McMillan.
Here.
Marvin Nevlier. Online. Roger Petrick also, are you online? Correct.
Yep.
Bryce Shaneborn.
Here.
Dennis Wortgo.
Here.
Dixie Weedman is excused, and Timothy Westfall is also excused. So we do have a quorum.
Okay. Any public comment? There's no one in the gallery. Is there anyone online? Nope. Any communications from board members? We have the minutes from December the 4th.
I'd move to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Law enforcement reports. Mr. Hahn.
So far this year, we've had 37 crashes, 2 with serious injury. I think the most notable one would be a snowmobile versus car up in the township of Lake. Also, since January, our agency has made 8 OWI arrests. And then I guess to include that, our rec deputy, because we've had such a good snow season, our rec deputy has been able to get out there quite a bit, doing enforcement on not only the trails but the roadways as well. So that's it for the sheriff's report.
Yeah. Did you say Marv was online? Do you have anything to report, Marv?
No, I don't at this time.
Okay. And Mr. Westfall is not here. Okay. Bureau of Transportation Safety, Law Enforcement Liaison, Todd.
All right. So I just got done speaking with the chief deputy about Wistar. Those of you that recall last time I was here, I spoke about a new addition to community maps, allowing law enforcement or anyone that has the advanced tab on community maps. So those that are traffic safety, people, experts, whatever you want to say, they can view if an agency signs up for it, where enforcement actions are taking place. And the whole idea is to use that as a knowledge base in order to look back and say, well, we have a lot of crashes in this area. Our enforcement's in another area. We need to redirect our people. So there's a statewide effort right now to get departments signed up for Wistar. It is not mandatory. You can opt in, you can opt out. I would say 99% of the departments that I am able to speak with, or those that are aware of it, are signing up for it. There's no extra work for anybody at the department. It's just simply downloading the track citations like they always have. So, Chief, I know you're remote. I was hoping to speak with you about Wistar. Is there a possibility you might be interested in that, or do you need more information?
Yeah, if I could get more information, I would certainly be interested in getting signed up for that.
Before we disconnect, then maybe I could get your number. We could just talk over the phone. I can send you an email with a PowerPoint. I just sent one to the other chief for Phillips as well. He's not at the meeting, but I sent it to him. So.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, great. So this email actually went out to every sheriff's office and every chief of police, talking about Wistar. We have had some that took the initiative. They just simply wanted to be part of it. Others are waiting to be contacted, which is great. Moving on, community maps, virtual office hours. This is something that we do the second Monday of each month at noon. And really it's, the top slab is down at UW-Madison. And so there's people that actually work for the university that are in charge of putting a lot of this together. And so one of the gentlemen, Stephen, he's a professor, and so he has office hours. And so this kind of mimics that, where people can jump online through the QR code or the link and ask questions about how to work community maps. And a lot of people that are actually involved with it probably have a really good understanding of it, except we've added a lot of new features, including Wistar and some other features. So on April, I believe it's 13th, that would be that Monday, there's going to be a more of an instructional rather than office hours or people, allowed to ask questions per se on anything. We were going to focus more on instructional at that time. So that would be a good one for everyone to jump on if they're interested. Moving on, Wisconsin Act 54. This is an expansion of the move over or slow down law, and it includes other disabled vehicles. Traditionally, we're thinking about squad cars and fire trucks, but this is any vehicle out on the roadway now. So they have to have one of these three things present. The vehicle that is on the side of the road either has to have their four ways or hazard lights on, or they have emergency flares or strobes, or they have one or more persons attending to the vehicle, such as changing a tire. People have to move over, slow down. So that's been on the books for a bit. Governor Evers signed that into law. Moving violations are up to $300. Usually there's a grace period where law enforcement maybe doesn't issue the citation right away, but it's in tracks. So that's an important one. Moving on, Price County, since we last met on December 4th. Of course, my numbers are not going to match Bob's because I go back to December 4th and depending on what day we run them, but I go on from meeting dates. So 54 total crashes, 0 fatalities, 4 injuries. You can see where they're plotted out on the map there. As far as citations statewide, as of March 3rd, in 2026, from December 1 till March 3rd, we've had 47 crashes across the state that have involved a fatality. And in those crashes, 49 people have lost their lives. In 2025, at that same time, we had 77 crashes with 80 people losing their lives. So, 31 fewer people at this time? And I will send the slides out to the commission so they could be dispersed as well. So if you want to take a closer look at that. Every quarter, the safety engineers in the state, they have a topic for us for discussion for the law enforcement liaisons to bring to the counties. And I am by no means an engineer, but I do have the information to discuss about certain types of intersections. And just because they're not necessarily in your county, they are in neighboring counties at times, and you will run into them. So it's good to be, know what's going on in case things change down the road. But what are our cuts? Well, first you got to look at this intersection. So one of the highways in the state of Wisconsin that's really getting a lot of looks right now is Highway 151. So it runs essentially from like Dubuque, Iowa, into Wisconsin. It runs through Madison, through Beaver Dam, and up into the Fox Cities. And most of it, not all of it, but a lot of it is like what you just see here. No crossovers. And there's medians where people can turn onto side roads. So you can imagine the number of angle crashes that are possible and the severity of them. A lot of those speeds on those roads are 65. So that's the problem that we're running into. So how do we fix it? Well, we come up with an R cut. So it might be hard to see, but if you can imagine that little map that's up there, imagine straight up is north, so I can kind of reference you. There's a vehicle on the far left side, position number 1. If they wanted to cross over straight to the east, like the intersection I just showed you, they're watching traffic that's going southbound and northbound, and they're trying to kind of hide in that median, or maybe they're turning north. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of vehicles. What an R cut is, it allows that number 1 position vehicle, rather than go across into the median, it allows them to turn right, which is a safer turn, less traffic to keep track of. They will then get in a turn lane to complete a U-turn. You'll see as they progress down to the south, they'll come to and complete a U-turn when it's safe. So then they either go straight after completing the U-turn to go north, or they get in that turning lane to turn east. Does that make sense? Okay. This reduces the the possibility of severe injuries and crashes by reducing the amount of conflict points. What are the types of R cuts? Well, most of them throughout the state, almost all of them are unsignaled. So that means there's no traffic lights with them. Also, there are a few, probably mostly just in Milwaukee. There are some that have signal lights, but they're very few and far between. One thing to keep in mind with R cuts is they can't be used everywhere. So terminology, what are they called? Well, if you're in a certain part of the state, they might call them a J-turn, or certain part of the country, they might call it a R cut. They might call it a Michigan left. We're all talking about the same thing here. So why would you want an R cut? Why not put in a roundabout? Why is an R cut so great? Well, when you have plenty of visibility, and not every intersection does, but when you have plenty of visibility, what the R cut does is it simplifies the driver decision making and traffic flow. It reduces the number and type of conflict points, which we discussed previously. It preserves full access at a lower cost, and it's easily retrofitted, or you can change an existing intersection to follow an R cut a lot easier than a roundabout. The other very important part of this is that a typical R cut can cost $1 to $3 million, where a couple of roundabouts in the intersection as shown can be 15 to 20 million. Sometimes the roundabout is the way to go. Sometimes the R cut is. And mostly it has to do with, traffic rates and the way the intersection is set up. This next slide, you'll see how there's a truck completing a U-turn. That's the R cut, right? They're completing that U-turn after they went through the intersection. That orange arrow shows a bumped out area. That's called a loon. And that's meant for the truck to be able to take a wide U-turn. Otherwise, they'd have a really difficult time completing that U-turn. So it's important for maintenance to make sure that those get maintained and snow is out of there as well. Safety results are actually rather stunning. National data shows that the implementation of R cuts has led to a 54% reduction in fatal and serious injury crashes. In Wisconsin, even better, 71% reduction in fatal and injury crashes. So this next slide is going to be very hard to see, but the first one on the left, you can see some orange blotches there. Those are the existing R cuts that are in the state. And if you follow Highway 53 up towards Superior, that's where a lot of them are. Also, there's a bunch over in the Fox cities. So after 25, there's been a lot of work towards adding additional R cuts. So if you know roughly where Madison is, Dane County, to the left is Iowa County. It's a rural county, but they have 151 going through it. And we've had intersections at 51 and K shut down due to fatalities, a lot of the reasons that we just discussed. So R cuts are going into Iowa County. And then also to the north and east of Dane County is Dodge County, also 151. They're putting R cuts in there, and then maybe a few more in the Fox cities. And catch up. I will send the slides out. So if anyone wants to look more into R cuts, there's reference material. And if you really want to know a lot about it, Dan Brugman is in charge of that, and that's the phone number to reach him. Any questions about R cuts? Okay. So the last topic I have for discussion is place of last drink. Does that sound familiar, Bob? Have you heard of that term? Okay. So let me just start out, first of all, to explain the need for it. In 2024, alcohol-involved crashes, you can see all the dots in the state of Wisconsin. Those are crashes in which a deputy trooper officer checked that alcohol was related to the crash in some way, shape, or form. So in statewide in 24, we had almost 6,000. 158 fatalities that were alcohol related and over 3,000 injuries. So you can see, it's certainly an issue. These are places that serve alcohol in the state of Wisconsin. So we're talking bars, restaurants, gas stations. So Wisconsin has approximately 18,000 alcohol outlets. That's 1 per 345 people. The national average is 1 per 1,000. So you can see there's certainly a culture in our state when it comes to alcohol use and unfortunately driving. So POLD stands for place of last drink. That is the place that a person, I gotta move this window, sorry. Person drank alcohol before being issued a citation by a law enforcement officer for an alcohol-related incident. Well, why is that important? Well, the information gathered during alcohol-related arrests can give us information as far as identifying alcohol on premises establishments and others that are over-serving. Well, why do we really want to collect that? Well, the reason I just discussed, we want to identify where people are drinking in potential places where there's, over-serving. We want to start a conversation with bars, restaurants, and stores and community members, public health, law enforcement to reduce over-service. And this is an opportunity to intervene and educate to reduce over-service. So if you go in the tracks, which is how law enforcement issues citations or completes crash reports, POLD, place of last drink, is available for law enforcement. So some agencies have taken it upon themselves to fill that out. Well, why? What does that help? Well, keep in mind too that Chief Deputy would understand that whenever someone is arrested for operating under the influence, we have to fill out a driver behavior report. And it's a set of questions that we ask people. It has to do with drinking problems, maybe medical issues, how much they've drank, where they're coming from, things of that nature. But there's usually a Miranda waiver that's read to them so you can ask them those questions after the custodial arrest. POLD, a lot of those questions can be asked in the initial contact with the individual. Where are you coming from? Where are you going to? How many drinks have you had? Things of that nature. Well, why do you need a separate POLD form from alcoholic influence report? Well, because the alcoholic influence report is more narrative and is an old document. It's not really searchable unless you go through it by hand. We want to get something that we can do a search, a computer search to come up with information. So that's why POLD is important. Some law enforcement agencies have been concerned because you have the alcoholic influence report, now you have the POLD form, and there's a lot of similar, if not identical, questions. What the state did is they wanted to get POLD going, and so they put that document in there. There's a committee that meets that has to do with the documents that you read to people. And so the idea is to get POLD and alcoholic influence report together on the same sheet of music and maybe condense it so it can be not that way. But there are several agencies that really don't want to do it because they feel it's redundant, but that is in the works. So we have pilot communities right now. There's several agencies across the state, not a lot, but maybe 10, 15 maybe, that are part of they're a POLD law enforcement agency. And we have large agencies and we have small agencies, sheriff's departments, police departments. And the idea is to get documentation so that when they search community maps down the road, they can see Joe's Bar on the corner. They've had an untold number of, drunk drivers and or people involved in crashes. It's a way for law enforcement and public health to look into it and maybe make a difference and go down and have a discussion with the bar owners and the bartenders, get additional training, make them aware of the civil criminal liabilities by not following, good safe practices. There's also an advisory committee. There's certain people throughout the state that are on this, the POLD is in its infancy. So you can imagine there's a lot of people that are, want to put their 2 cents in. If anyone that wants to be part of POLD or they have questions, that's the email where you can direct your questions to. And finally, Governor's Conference on Highway Safety is set for August 24th and 25th, which is a little different format than it was previous years. Monday was always kind of like a business day and training for DREs. Monday right away is going to start off with training Monday and Tuesday. So that QR code in the upper right-hand corner can give you more information. Any questions, all?
I do, Todd. Going back to that POLD form, is that going to be a required form that the officer has to complete in order to close out, say, that OWI?
To tell you the truth, Bob, I think that remains to be seen. I know there's advisory committees. They're looking into it. I think really what it comes down to is they want to see if it's feasible, if it works. They don't want to overburden law enforcement. And so at this time, I've been telling people, unless you're really interested in looking into your bars in your community, which is, legitimate, maybe where the problem bars are already. I don't know, but for some agencies have so many bars, it's hard for them to keep track of all of them, But so it remains to be seen.
Okay, yeah, and the reason why I ask is if our officers start having issues trying to close out, say, a specific OWI investigation, would this be the holdup? as far as-
Yeah. You don't have to do it right now. They can just do the alcoholic influence report. If they do complete this, my understanding is it's attached to the same, incident as the OWI itself, so it should close out just fine.
Okay.
I know agencies that are doing it right now. Watertown PD hit me up. They want to be part of it. I think they had one of their officers go to a tracks update and they found out about Pulled. So they came back to their department and kind of started it on their own. And, some agencies don't want anything to do with it. Others want to just wait and see, or they want to jump right in. So that's what I have.
Hey, thank you, Todd.
Thank you.
Traffic safety engineer, Randy?
All right. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'll just be reviewing the construction projects for the county this quarter, as well as some operational and safety assessments. Most of these I did already review in the last quarter meeting, but I'll just quickly review them again. So we can go to the next slide. This is 511 Wisconsin. If you want more detailed project information, you can visit this website. And we'll get started with the construction projects. On County D, there'll be a 10.3 mile safety improvement in Phillips. It's estimated to run from May to November of 2027. And this will be the reconstruction of the horizontal and vertical curve and guardrail installation. So it's quite a long project also. County D will remain open to traffic during most of the construction with single lane closures and flagging. You can go to the next one. Oh, that's okay. And then on Squaw Creek Road, there'll be a bridge replacement from June. Estimated construction is June. And the road will be closed during constructions. Closure signs will be placed at the adjacent intersection for that. One second. Okay, and then the last one here on Larkin Road, another bridge replacement from May to November. It will be closed during construction with adjacent intersection road closure signs. All right, and then I can go to the next slide. This is the speed study, which is finally complete. I did send out the letter to the city of Park Falls. There's a lot of wordage on here, but the results of the study it was not recommended at this time for a speed limit change, so the speed limits here will stay as they were. The 85th percentile indicated that drivers were compliant with the speeds. Crash history showed it was operating within safety norms compared to similar roadways statewide. And also the roadway context determined the features, adjacent land use, and access spacing were all supportive of the existing limit. All right, one can go to the next one. So I was going to go last week, but unfortunately I had a meeting that I had to attend to check out the improvement at this intersection. So I haven't been there since probably November when I went to go look. So these improvements may not be up to date. You'll have to let me know, but the pending improvements back in December were doubling the stop signs on Little Chicago Road and Wisconsin 111 approaches, and then the addition of the red reflective strips. I spoke with our signage and marketing coordinator, and they did get it ordered for the county, but sometimes that doesn't necessarily mean that they have been installed yet. So does anyone know if those improvements were?
We had a highway meeting yesterday, and I believe both Little Chicago and 111 now have the flashing light up and going, so everything's there. They did bring up a discussion about putting a overhead street light there, like other intersections that you see on Highway 13. Ultimately, there was, I think it was like $2,000, a little less than $2,000 for the pole and installation, and then it was $25 a month to run that light. That was not going to be paid for by the state, so the committee voted not to move forward with adding a light there. There was some concern about housing. There are houses there. It's already semi-lit from those houses, so they did have the lighting or the flashing lights up on Little Chicago. And then the extra signage.
Okay. And then if you did need more information about any additional lighting, I do have Lindsay Heineck there. She's our lighting engineer. If you want to like email her or call her, she would have more information if you do decide to go with more lighting. See, and that would be a permit with the state, and the costs associated with the design, the install, the maintenance would be on the community requesting it. So, does anyone have any questions on this intersection? Okay. Well, I think that's all I got then.
Okay, thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
School transportation report. Jason, you have anything?
No, I do not have anything to report.
Okay. Attorney legal, Bryce, do you have anything?
Nothing.
Dixie's not here. I don't have anything. Highway Department, Roger, do you have anything?
Not on mute, so I'd say no. I think you're good.
Okay. Next meeting date is June the 4th.
Could I request that, could we leave this up just for like 2 minutes so I could show the chief on what we got for Wistar?
Yeah, so as soon as we adjourn, we'll stop
Thank you.
recording, but we'll leave the meeting going.
Thank you.
The chief and you can talk.
And Todd, I did send you an email, so you have my contact information.
Okay, thank you.
So unless somebody has something else, we shall adjourn.